get surrounded by ethical people?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Well, when you talk about ethical leadership, we talk about honesty, respect, and service, and being excellent in whatever we do. This is what the general ethical leadership talks about. And if you look at and when you want to be an ethical leader, you have to set your values and you follow the values. Right? And this is the exact thing what Toastmasters does. Toastmasters have set up a certain value, which is integrity, respect, service, and excellence, which is totally aligned to what the ethical leadership is saying. So therefore, yes, you have when you are a leader, you need to be ethical because you need to follow those values. I mean, Toastmasters clearly mentions when you take the oath as a member, as a leader, you need to follow the values of Toastmasters, the vision, mission, and the values. So therefore, you become an ethical leader. All right. Now, going to your next question, which recruiting members, in other words, you said employees, in other words, members, should we recruit members who are following those values? I don't think so. Because Toastmasters is a platform where we bring people to develop skills and competencies. So therefore, you don't look for people who follow the values and recruit them as members. No, you bring them in and develop that skill so that they will start following the values. You create that charisma, that characteristic where the members start following the values. You teach them, you build them so that they will start following values. That habit will be practiced, will help him to practice in the corporate world. So when he goes to the corporate world, he will start following those values. He knows, okay, this is how I learned in Toastmasters, so this is what I will do in my corporate. So this is what the difference of being ethical. When you are a leader, yes, you need to be ethical, but it does not mean that you need to recruit ethical members. No, you bring them in, whatever the platform they are in, bring them in, develop them so that they'll become ethical leaders. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you very much. In fact, the point behind this question is you can't go and find ethical leader where he is. You have to shape the ethical leaders. So that's what he said actually. Like, how do you really find a person? Okay, you find a leader, and when you inculcate the habits of ethical leadership, obviously he becomes an ethical leader.
Thank you very much for your wonderful answer.
It's because my question is something is indirect on for the audience. That's it.
Okay, second panelist. Yes, Toastmaster Suresh Kumar.
As an ethical leader, you must be honest irrespective of any challenges or situations you face. Do you think it's possible? If so, how?
Thank you, moderator. Honesty. Do you know anyone the meaning of the honesty? It's a integrity. This is also one of the value from our Toastmasters. What are the 4 values we have? What explained by our previous panelist? This is one of them, integrity. That's nothing but a honesty. So we should be honesty as a Toastmasters. Because we are learning from Toastmastering, this is one of the main role in the Toastmaster. Right? The second question, how I will be the honesty in the Toastmastering? Take an example. In club level, we have the contest, right? And area level, we have the contest. But in the club level, when we go for the contest, our members will not be the judge. We are taking judge from other clubs or other areas. The same way, I was a judge in the other club. So I must follow the integrity. Otherwise, the judging will not be correct. Also, this is major one, the judge. The meaning judge itself, we know what he has to do, balancing, right? So we should be very integrity on this role as a judge, honest with the contestant.
How do you know the judges are from outside the club? You are saying they are recruited from outside. How do you know? You don't know the judges, right? I thought Toastmasters judges are supposed to be anonymous.
Yeah, anonymous, but the club, the leader who is going to select the chief judge, he must be the honest. So selecting the judge, the chief judge should be the very honest to select the judges. Also, whenever you grow your colleague in the Toastmastering, so you should be very honesty to teach him what has to be he has to learn. For example, if you want to achieve one path completely, so we should be very honestly tell him, yes, these are the things you have to follow and complete your project. So this way, as for me, I will be honesty to the club, and I will be honesty to my colleagues, and I will be honesty to others to achieve their goals. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much. In fact, honesty is not done. Okay, you can just like that. You can try and then do it. When you are honest, you will face a challenge. When you are really being honest, irrespective of your challenges, that's where your ethical leadership quality comes in picture. Thank you very much, our panelist. Of course, it's like judging is one part. I feel the chief judge honesty in ensuring that he takes the right judge as a panel judges, so that whatever the result comes in, it will be the really honesty part. That's important. Okay, we'll move on to the third panelist, our Salim. Yes, of course, you are working in a big organization and you have multicultural and really multilinguistic colleagues and all that. Yes.
To joining me as a panelist, which I'm still in guest position, and hopefully I'll join Toastmaster, which I can learn many things and explore my knowledge and wisdom to have a good leadership quality. Regarding the leadership and ethicals in our organization, Marai, working in huge multinational company which have 40,000 plus employees from many countries. We have 54 countries nationality who are working together. At the same time, we never try to distinguish with color, creed, or language, or country, or religion, or anything. We always work as a team, as a Almara, and we try to make sure that all the projects we are getting to improve technically and to serve to the customers, which is our main motto, to have the trust and quality, which is more important. And at the same time, we have some kind of very strong policies, which knowingly if we do some kind of hypothetically or some kind of like creating our own problems, and if we have any kind of disqualification with our colleagues, there is strong policy which will terminate for both the staffs who are trying to have physical or any kind of verbal values. So it is very good in our company that we are trying to follow the ethical things, and I believe that we should be like that. We should not be any kind of like having some kind of distinguish between color and religious way, which is not good as a human being. We have to work together to develop our company and our products, which can be have a lot of more trust. At the same time, I wish to joining in Toastmaster to have more exploration and have to more leadership, so which is I can remove my fear, stage fear, and have some more knowledge and more interest.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. In fact, this is a fantastic honor because working in an organization with around 40,000 employees, and then you don't feel the difference of people. In fact, when I joined Toastmasters in 2018, many people asked me, "You're joining Lanka Club. There are many Indian clubs." I said, "I don't feel any difference." I till today, I never felt any difference. Toastmaster join wherever with our club, he's a Toastmaster. That's right. And then what we learn from this platform is very important. Then which club you're joining. wherever you are, you have to focus on your learning. And then the main part is what is convey the message is the equality. So when you have the equality in picture, obviously you will have a success together. Thank you very much for your.
Really good. I just wanted to add some few points about being in Sri Lankan toastmaster or Indian or other. It does not matter. But I feel from last 4 weeks and coming is something enthusiastic, and we are working as a big family, which we can learn, we can remove our fears, which is really appreciated.
Exactly. In fact, it's first speech you were saying was Deva Kudumbam. That's like a universe.
That's our
is one
culture
family.
of India.
Yes, universe is the one family. So that
How to feel like that.
exactly. Thank you very much. And then we'll move on to our fourth panelist. Of course, because he is a man who is working in a toxic environment. That's why I just want to ask this question to him. And of course, because I also feel that pinch in my environment. So when you have a toxic environment like highly political, and then there is pushback for whatever you want to achieve, and then you will have a lot of stress. Okay, do you think as an ethical leader, is it possible to manage such an environment?
Yes, thank you, moderator. See, one of the key things to reduce stress is to be happy first. I once read an article in BBC which said the most happiest people on earth are people of Bhutan. Any guesses why it is? That is because in their culture there is a practice where they almost every day think about death. Now, death is the ultimate bad thing that can happen to a person. So when you are always thinking about the worst thing, everything else that happens is something positive. So now we can take this example to our work environment. Now, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Termination.
Lose job. So if you always be conscious of the day that you will lose the job, what you will do. Your plan B has to be always ready in your mind. So then you will not feel that anxiousness when you given
How ethical it is, like if you are suddenly losing the job, and what is the ethical leadership we're talking about?
See, as an employee, you could lose. Like when you are a leader, you could use a job. Your subordinates could lose it. Anybody could lose it.
So that means your bank doesn't have ethical leadership. If somebody
it's
is
not only the bank.
somebody is terminated.
Yeah, in fact, I maybe if you can allow, because as an ethical leader, irrespective of whether you are in that job or this job, you follow your ethical leadership. Wherever you are, you will succeed. Because
Yeah, just want
that's
to
what
add
actually.
one point. Sometimes in our job, the main thing is working punctually and delivering the projects. At the same time, what we feel is that you work with honesty. Sometimes in our organization, sometimes I feel many people they come 8:10, 8:05 or 8:20. In my corporate career, I have never came late. 8 o'clock means 8 o'clock.
Fantastic.
At the same time, for example, our service to customers. At the same time, we have many salesmen who are working very hardly to deliver in 50-degree or in old store to support the customers. At the same time, we have to keep the value of our company. So I feel that sometimes if there is time for Salah prayer, if I have some very urgent job which I cannot make it stop for 20 minutes, I will feel better that I can just finish this job first. Then then I can go after 5 or 10 minutes, I can go and pray. At the same time, I feel that work is worship.
So it's a commitment.
It's committed. At the same time, you should feel that end of the month what I'm taking salary is worthful.
Correct.
And I am feeding for my loved ones, for my family, it is worth. It's not like you're just coming and going and creating sort of issues which will even, for example, if I do my own job of responsibility, it will be never trouble for my colleague or junior who is, I mean, be burden to him because I am passing the ball to him,
Correct.
which is really not good ethically. I feel.
Thank you very much. Okay, now, yeah, should be actually, of course, you said, yes, this stress is the one part, because when you have challenging situations, how you really be ethical, that's where actually we wanted to have.
Yeah, so my responsibility was not about, as a leader, you try to send people out. It is as an individual how you bring your stress level down.
Yeah.
So when you have this idea that, okay, something could go wrong always, then you have the mental capacity to focus on what needs to be done.
Okay.
So that was my point. I can actually illustrate from another practical example. We had in one of my previous company, we had a merger. So generally, when there is a merger, you bring in the key employees from each division and put up a integration team, and that runs for around 2 years. So their main job is to ensure that both organizations are seamlessly merged together. Now, if they don't work properly, the merger is going to be a failure, even though in name it will be, but the outcome will be negative.
Sure.
So, but the problem is you have two teams. In both the teams, you have head of finance, head of risk, head of marketing. So once merged, only one person will have job.
Yes.
Right? So when you are in that environment, you fear your job security. So you don't have the mentality to work for the organization. You are thinking about the next job. So as a solution for that, those who stay in the project till the 2 years is over, at the end of the project, they will get something called completion bonus, which will be like 3-4 years salary paid at once. So that straight away takes away the pressure of losing the job. In 2 years' time, either they will have a job, 50% you have a chance of having a job. Even if you don't have, you still have this big money coming in, which you can look for another job.
Thank you. Fantastic. Because this is one important thing which is, I undergone the same thing, because when my bank got merged, actually I was part of this integration team, and of course that's really a threat for your job. But even though you have to work as an integration team for the success of the merger, that is the one line principle or instruction from the management. And day and night we talked. At the end of the integration, I got benefited. I moved to a better department and a better placement. Of course, the other colleague he lost job, but when you're working sincerely, and I'm sure it will be taken care. That's the important thing. We'll move on to yes.
There's addition for this one, for this job security. One thing I want to make sure that if you have good deeds,
Yes. Yeah.
if you help the needy, and if you make as a practice.
Yes.
Sorry if I can have done a few minutes.
Yeah. Yes.
In 2013, my previous company job lost, and they're not paying my salary on time. And I used to go for my normal routine job. But my wife, she used to think 24/7. She never used to sleep. But I used to snore and sleep. Then sometimes she will say, "How you will get so deep sleep?" I told her, I don't care. My karma is there and my good days are there.
Yes.
One day I get good job. It's not my responsibility to feel, it is the creator. It is his job that he will fit every person, every living thing on this
Yeah.
world. Our job is to just deliver.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. Yes, yes, please.
Now, when we talk about the merger thing, where does the leader, the ethical leader places himself, and I was not very clear, that particular leadership, like ethical leadership,
Exactly.
how it is applied in a situation like a toxic and toxic environment came in because of the merger. And how the ethical leader who's leading that project or something like that, how he applied his ethical leadership.
Fantastic. Now, when you were working, and two banks teams are working, and especially from the technology side, the bank systems which they wanted to retain, so those employees will be retained. The people who are supporting that technology will be supported. But at the other bank, if they are not
Going to say more
having
valuable.
the systems, for example, in core banking system, in our bank we had a different core banking, and our destination bank was totally different core banking. As an ethical leader, you have to think of what is best for the merged organization, not about your job security. If you work on job security, and then that's not your ethical quality. So that's where being honest.
I'm sure he
whatever
won't be
given.
speaking like this if he has loved his job, right?
Of course. It's a good,
It's
point.
easy to say, okay, because you're in a good ground, but look at the person who is in the dungeon.
No, the dungeon is that's one thing. If the people who are sincere, and he will,
No,
it's only he's losing his job here.
See, they
He will get a
regard-
better job.
regarding-
He will be losing his job here. Doesn't mean that he will die. He will get a better job than this. That's what you need to look at, because it's not about you are just losing the job or just losing your money and all that. If you are an ethical person, you are an ethical leader, wherever you are, you will succeed.
Because our name also will be known in the industry that as a
No,
ethical
Exactly,
person.
exactly.
At the same
just,
time, if
sorry,
you
sorry,
are
sorry. Actually, just to run the, because we wanted to cover some more points, then we'll go on to the next question to our toastmaster Suresh. Sometimes, because now this is a really interesting deliberations going on, the same thing. Because sometimes we need to set an example for others to follow. What one good ethical quality you will follow, which you will advise others also to follow?
Yes, that's a good question. That's again, which is coming into our core value of Toastmastering, which is respect. We should respect others.
Yes.
So respect other means not putting salam. So, alright. So we need to respect his ability, his quality, his qualification. We should respect. Then only it will be good for that organization wherever he is there.
even weakness.
Yes, exactly. The weakness also we should respect. Then only we can ask them to improve on that weaknesses. So the respect will be the best quality. We should take it and spread among our members. See, in the respect again, I can tell you something. If you are respecting, that will build the feeling of your trust, safety with the other members. So both the way we are getting the benefits. So we should respect their skills and, as he said, the weaknesses and his qualifications. So this is the one of the major quality we should have as a respect.
Thank you very much. So when you are respecting each other, so you will build a trust. Thank you very much. And then we'll move on to our guest Salim. Now, of course, as an ethical leader, how will you communicate to your colleagues and friends? Like when you want to communicate something, whether you will have one-on-one discussion or an open discussion.
See, regarding communications, we have many mode of communication. Before we used to have some face-to-face meeting, and we used to discuss our projects, what are the main technically problems which we can make sure that it will be very useful for our own staff, like having many devices. If you see in our Almarai, we have many devices which will be using by the sales team. So at the same time, we used to build many projects and have the more easy way to deliver. And it will be very easy for the customers. This is the main motto. Now, after post-COVID, we are using the mode of Microsoft Teams to communicate with our own team, department-wise, which to resolve issues.
Okay, when I'm asking, I'm not asking about the types of communication. I'm asking, like, for example, if you are ethical leader, sometimes, when you to have a transparent communication across the group, or sometimes you need to have one-on-one communication. Now, how you will handle such communication?
See, sometimes there will be variance of opinions, and maybe we may have different way of thinking, but we make sure that it will be benefit to the organization. At the same time, it will be easy for friendly relationship with our users, which is very, very important, and we make sure that it will be delivered on time.
Okay.
And because we as a Almarai, we don't want any kind of losing the sale.
No.
It is our more motto.
Okay. Maybe Aditi wants to make it, maybe to have to continue with this same question. Like, there is a negative message to be passed on to the person. How the communication can.
So there are always, after the pandemic, all what we hear is negative communications, right, from the top management. We didn't have the opportunity to get positive information. Okay, if you're in a situation where you have to receive the message, it's going to be very bitter. But then, how do you sugarcoat? If you're in the management level, you need to see how you can sugarcoat that bitter pain, right? Now, there were incidents in my organization where this happened, where they have to basically send out a lot of very senior employees. They have to send out because they have to recruit new service, had to come into play. Now, what they did was basically they spoke to them. They have done their term. Half of their years, life was in Saudi Arabia, serving the organization. So they gave additional benefits, like kind of special bonuses, and then certain insurance privileges, whatever they had. For example, the life insurance, usually you get it after you die, but then somehow the management got to negotiate with the insurance company and convert it into a different policy, and then they give all those benefits. So that they showed a way that, okay, you are going out, but you are going out to a better pasture, a greener pasture.
Life.
So that way, they sugarcoated the bitter message, and I think that's what we have to do. In Toastmasters, we have projects to learn this actually. So there are projects where you need to communicate sad news to the audience and get them to like or agree to that message. So this is something that we can learn. This is something we have to do. You need to sugarcoat that bitter pill, the bitter message, so that they swallow it without any harm.
Leadership quality.
Thank you very much. I think, sorry, of course, we learn how we communicate. But one important thing is, like, when you are communicating, it should be transparent and without any hidden agenda. When you have hidden agenda, when you try to communicate, you will not be able to communicate the right message. So you have to be always careful when you are communicating. If you are an ethical leader, you have to have these quality in picture. That's important. And then we'll move on to our shipping. And of course, same interesting question for you. If some mistake happen in the department, being the head of the department, now there is a financial loss to the company, will you take the accountability as an ethical leader, or you will pass on this to your team?
Taking accountability and taking the responsibility of something, it doesn't happen the day something goes wrong. You have to start from the day you start working in the company. to be responsible. You always do what you the best for the company. Then it is easy when it comes to a situation like that. To quote an example in one of my earlier company, once we had this chance of doing a certain transaction, which was supposed to benefit us in like 4 or 5 years, but there's no benefit in the short run, and if you do the transaction, you are not going to be recognized much. But the risk was because it's something that we have not done. This is the first time that we are doing it. So if you do something, if something goes wrong, you will be held accountable. So when this opportunity came in, none of the teams wanted to pick it. Yeah, they didn't want to handle it. So if it didn't do anything, it would have just died off. Nobody would have noticed that something happened. But I felt that was something that is good for the organization and needs to be done. So I took the risk, and my team got involved and did all the due diligence, and finally completed the deal and signed off. And few days after the signing off, we realized that there was a mistake, and it was something that we didn't see. So that was causing a significant loss. And in normal circumstances, such a loss would have ensured that you will have to leave the organization. So I went through it. Then, as the leader, I took the ownership of the loss and went and briefed the management. Told them exactly how it all evolved. I could have easily walked off; nothing would have happened. But I did what is best for the organization. And we all did what is good for it, but this is what it is. But still, even though there is a short-term loss, there's a potential huge saving in the long run. So they studied the whole case, and they didn't cause any negative, didn't have a negative impact on us. So that's how. If you are honest every day, one day you can. I mean, you could, unless you are really bad at your job. You do a mistake here and there, it's not going to harm you. You can always be honest and take ownership of it.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is the main thing is when you take the responsibility, you have a joint accountability is in the picture, because that's where you have to be always. Don't think that okay, I just take the responsibility of any role or any leadership role. It doesn't mean that okay, you will just do it and others will take care. No, you will have accountability. That's it. So that's where even in club president level, that's where we are really learning. If you see, as a club president, you may not see that he will doing much, but the entire accountability falls on him. If people not working, it will have impact on him, and he will not even showcase his any negative remarks or something to others. So that's where it is important. Okay, with the interest of time, the last question to our team. Now, how do you show your ethical leadership? Like, if you see someone and who is violating the ethical norms, and what will be, whether you will tolerate him or what will be your reaction?
Never. I am a person who been recognized as outspoken, and some of the leaders, even in the organization, they don't like it. They don't like it. Even in those processes, they don't like it because I speak. And I will not tolerate any leader who is not being ethical, because we have been given, we have taken note, we have given certain alignments, we have given a vision, a value. We need to follow that. And if 90% of the people are following it, and just because of 10% people, 10% leaders are not following, it doesn't mean that, because of that 10%, the whole organization may collapse. Now, frankly speaking, it's happening to District 79. And I'm not going to keep quiet, no. I am a person who will speak out when I see something wrong. If I am wrong, I will accept. Sorry, it's my mistake, I'm wrong, I will correct it. But other than that, if somebody is, if any leader, especially a leader, any leader below me, above me, I mean in Toastmasters we always say it's the other way around, the hierarchy is the other way around. Members are on the top, and the district director is on the bottom. So anyone below in that hierarchy are doing mistake, I will not tolerate. I will speak up. I will make sure that they are being correct. That's it.
Thank you very much.
I had one or two points. See, regarding sometimes even we follow our culture. If you go for our brought up, we have taught like that from the beginning of our childhood. We should be honest, and we should be do our job with honesty because we feel that the creator is seeing them. So in his circumstances, maybe he can walk away from his responsibility. Maybe he may have some lot of penalties, but still he spoken the truth and he accepted his mistakes or his shortcomings. So he can. The management was very happy and everything. So there was no any penalty for you.
Sure. Thank you very much. In fact, the one important message what he gave is, it's about outspoken. Of course, generally people think, okay, I am a good ethical leader. Okay, I don't mind whoever others are doing it. But if you are an ethical leader, but your environment is not ethical, and you will not succeed. So this is one important message because I just wanted to get this, because that's where you get these from leaders. Like, don't be a leader of your own, leader of the community, a leader of the environment. And then when you pass on the message of ethical leadership, I'm sure the others will follow. So it's like like pandemic, it's spread easily. So that's very, very important. Thank you very much, and of course, the interest of time, because it's quite interesting, and they have a lot of points, but we have limited time. So thank you very much for all the panelists. I just want to conclude with one message. Like, of course, we all spoke many things about leadership. We were exploring the leadership qualities. The one framework is like father. The acronym of the leadership attributes is like father. Like F for fairness, and then A for accountability, that we really spoke, and T for trust, which just Professor Suresh said, and H for honesty, is keep saying, and then equality. Our Salim said equality is one, and then of course the last but not least, respect. So if you have this father acronym as part of your leadership traits, I'm sure, and if you want to be an ethical leader, you will set an example of yourself, and then you take the right people, right ethical people around you, and then acknowledge your mistakes. If you acknowledge your mistakes and it's not that only acknowledge your mistakes, you have to correct your mistakes. That's where you get that content, and encourage the open communication, and then you foster a positive environment. That will really make our team success. And transparency, that's important. And then establish a code of ethics. That's what the final message which said. If you have all these traits, I'm sure you all become an ethical leader one day. And my sincere thanks to our panelists for making this successful panel discussion. And if you have any questions, we can take one or two questions and then we can wind up. Any questions from anybody?
Yeah. It's clear to us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. With that, we will end this panel discussion. Thank you.